Hi everyone, welcome to mine and Chris Barrow's Return to Work webinar for Invisalign and Itero. Today on this recording you're going to see me speak. At a later point we'll be able to send you the video for Chris Barrow's part of it, but I'm going to focus today on the digital aspects that I believe are going to make our working lives more efficient, more streamlined, and basically take advantage of the fact that we really need to make our clinical spaces super efficient now, because any clinical work is going to take up more time, more space, and therefore any aspect of our profession, of what we do for a living, that we can make digital and carry out off-site in advance is going to be something that gives us the edge. So let's have a look at what we're talking about. I'm going to teach you about the concept of digital distillation. All right. Basically, I've been involved in digital for quite a while now, and my brain's learned to look at existing analog processes and distill them, to sort of split out the parts, to rebuild them and reinvent them in ways that we hadn't done before, to create greater efficiencies. So digital distillation is the separation of existing processes into those that are face-to-face clinical and those that can be completed digitally, virtually and remotely. Fundamentally, as I've just outlined, every process can be re-examined and redesigned from the bottom up. So every single one of our dental processes can now be assessed through the lens of filtering out those components that can be completed off-site by virtual and digital means. The initial consultation and validation of new patients is going to be one of the big chunks we're going to talk about today. And also the examination and digital triage of existing patients. And we're also going to look at all of that admin that goes in between that often happens on site. And I'm going to talk to you about digital ways that the consent, the booking, the payment of all dental treatments should all be pre-done. And one of the big key messages is that pre is key. Let's just have a little look at this graphic that was sent to us by Invisalign. So it's one of their 3 core messages that they feel is part of the recovery process for all practices right now. So the first of those is business viability, and what that really means is before we start getting creative about the ways that we can rebuild our practice, we've got to make sure that we have cash flow. All right. So we're going to help dentists understand that their cash situation and its evolution is key to the basis of supporting their recovery. So you need to have some cash in the bank if you're going to plan any of these things. Hopefully that's obvious, but let's put it out there. The practice recovery part, we're going to help dentists to adjust their workflows to have fewer touch points and thereby reducing infection risk and improve planning, whilst also at the same time balancing backlog activities with new consults. So it's that fine balance of reinventing, of drawing new patients into the system and also dealing with treatments that we've had to cancel or postpone. We're going to talk about patient engagement. We want to help dentists to adjust their communication with their existing patients and new patients and highlight the advantages of the digital workflow and a safer patient journey. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today is challenging from an implementation point of view. Okay, so there's a little ladder. First of all, you guys listening have got to buy into it. Then you've got to get your staff to get on board, and then ultimately you've got to get your patient base too. So you really need to understand the core principles of why this is worthwhile, and obviously we will outline those later. So to begin with, really to address one of the sort of first parts of that little triad is about the virtual consultation workflow. We may still be shut for some time. It might be a short time, might be a long time, but if you can adopt and implement some of these virtual consultation workflows I'm going to outline today, you can start getting validated leads, validated patients queuing up for your practice and ready for when we can reopen. Okay, and this is more than just a Zoom meeting. We've all gotten really good at doing Zoom meetings now, but it's a complete end-to-end system to complete all non-clinical aspects of a consultation process, thereby creating a validated patient. I hear you all asking, what is a validated patient? All right, so a validated patient is a true customer who wants one of your treatments and can afford it. Let me paint the opposite. It's when we invite someone into our practice, maybe for a free consult, maybe even for a paying one, but we carry out an extensive clinical consultation. with staff on site. We take radiographs, OPG, CBCT, who knows how much time's invested in. When that consultation finishes, we might spend an hour, 2 hours writing up those notes, sending off a report for the patient to consider, and then nothing happens, okay? So that's the opposite of a validated patient. So in the pre-COVID world, carrying out a full clinical and radiographic examination on a new unvalidated patient was costly and wasteful. Now it's also unsafe and unadvisable. So you must validate your new patients before any clinical aspects are added to the workflow. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. Here's a little video that I made. This is a patient-facing video, if you know what I mean. It's to inform the patients about our digital processes. Afterwards, I'll give you the instructions that we carry out in practice. Hi guys, it's Marcus here from the Courtyard. I'm going to talk to you about how we're managing to consult our patients virtually during the lockdown. Let's begin. First, get in touch by Insta, email or WhatsApp. Then click the SmileMate link in one of our tabs and upload 5 photos of your teeth. That allows me to assess your teeth and advise on the best treatment for you. You'll get back a SmileMate report advising what treatment will suit you best and the monthly cost on our 0% finance over 24 months. Simply ask questions directly on Insta or WhatsApp and we'll have a chat so we can let us know if you're keen on moving forward. If you are interested in financing your treatment, we can send you a finance link straight to your phone so you can pre-approve your finances. We then send you an info pack to sign to make sure you know everything about the treatment. Finally, we set up a video consult to let you meet the dentist and ask any questions. Now we're ready to book you in. So please, just click on the links, get in touch. We look forward to talking about your treatment. Okay guys, so simple message there, maybe a 6-7 step process to carry out a lot of the assessment to a point where you may well be able to start talking about treatment options for a patient, start giving a general price point for the patient, and then ideally, as we'll go to, is selecting a finance option as your default, okay? And the reason for doing that is, A, more and more people are expecting to pay for figures that these treatment costs by finance anyway. But from your point of view, it allows you to pre-approve things, okay? So it means that you are gaining a level of financial commitment by knowing that the patient can afford your treatment before the patient attends the practice in any way. That keeps the clinician's time super valuable, but also, as we've identified, keeps things safe, all right? You don't want patients in your practice that aren't going to come to anything because it just increases the risk of spreading the virus and waste potential time, okay? So we're going to walk through step by step these processes and you'll see how easy it is to implement. Before I do that, I want to go back to the distillation, okay? So you're just going to see here how we've divided up what might be a normal consultation process into the preclinical and the purely clinical, which will need to happen at your practice. So the first step, so we receive an inquiry by email or Instagram from a prospective patient. We respond to that, and initially, like one of the first things, we request some dental imagery, okay? It could be WhatsApp, it could be something. Most of the treatments here I'm talking about are either best suited to Invisalign or maybe composite bonding, which is a big practice builder for us. But equally, you will see that you could extend these into routine care and or implants or restorative, okay? So the first thing is you request some imagery and your key phrase says so we can assess and advise you better, okay? Use these to assess and advise, key phrase, and offer approximate costings. Offer finance options as a default by email. Offer to send a finance link to confirm affordability, and then arrange a video consult so the patient can meet the human behind the digital, and then send consent pack for digital signature and upload to the cloud. Whether or not you do the consent info pack before the consult obviously is up to you, but one of the nice things about sending it first is you've got less frequently asked questions to answer during your consult, because they should have read it. They should be left with just a clarification. So from a consent pathway, it's better to send the consent first, because then you're just doing that, answering any questions they might have following that after. But hey, so what's purely clinical? The validated patient by then attends for a clinical and radiographic examination, inclusive of intraoral scans, obviously. They are advised that a definitive written estimate and finance options will be emailed to them. You could do it there and then, but for those who feel need to then sort of take a step back and assess, or if it's a complex case, you've got the scans. You could very easily, as we'll show you later in the webinar, have a virtual consult again. Okay. Sorry, go back to that a little bit. Pardon me. Well, there you go. I was surprised by that myself. But yes, there are just two steps, aren't there? You're really just adding the clinical components when they attend, and then you're finalising treatment plan. So let's divide it up again. So the picture I want you to think about your practice is looking like here on in is a hospital. All right. If you're there, you're gowned up. If you're there, you're doing clinical activities that could not be done virtually. That's the only thing you're there for. So therefore, there's a great deal of digital admin that can be done off-site now. The patient receives their definitive written estimate and finance options by email. A video consult is arranged to discuss and confirm that treatment is proceeding. A minimal attendance appointment sequence is emailed to the patient. These appointments will be longer in length but reduced in number. And any AGP appointments could well last a morning, so we're going to try and really batch things up. And during that batch, it may well include a hygienist and a dentist, a surgical team, if you will, who are going to carry out as much treatment as possible at that time on the patient for efficient reasons, and to keep PPE doing not being overused and costs spiraling. So, as stated, the patient attends solely for their clinical appointment. No consent or payment is required. A surgery-specific waiting room is clearly signposted. The patient has been made aware of their surgery and waiting room number by text. The surgical team put on PPE and text the patient to come through when they are ready, or reception could do that. Lots of digital ways to avoid any kind of contact, to make contactless dentistry. So now I'm going to add some visuals to the mix. So this is the first port of call again through your virtual consultation, and I'm terming this general field digital triage. So the increased ability for you to assess a problem because you've got digital information, in this case photos. So they could be dental selfies, they could be they could be by WhatsApp, which has got a good security record. It could be by other apps out there such as SmileMate. Any way a patient can easily upload and send you some photos of their teeth is a benefit. And as stated, it then makes the treatment planning or giving treatment options of either Invisalign or composite bonding simple, but other things it will still really helpful. You can see an occlusal view here. If people had missing teeth or if they had decay here, you would see it. So you'd be surprised. My next slide so fundamentally it gets you that first yes. What I call, so there's two yeses you need. One, they want something you want, the patients, and two, they can afford it. Number two we'll deal with later, but the first option is you've given them some treatment options. They come back saying that's great. If it's via Instagram, then there'll be lots of smiley faces and happy emojis. So you get your first yes, and then it's worth moving on. This is just to show what the millennials do for dental selfies. This is a real case, and really I'm just highlighting again, whilst it wasn't with any app or any retractors, you can see the issue here. You can see that the guy's got a composite filling upper right one that needs a little help, and whether we're doing Invisalign or composite bonding, we can come to discuss those options. So finance next. To achieve the second yes, can they afford the treatment? Because that's important. Okay. So most investment in our worlds these days, over £1,000 in any sector, comes with finance options and monthly payments. So I'm encouraging you to make this your business default setting. You may have finance set up already, you may not. There might be little steps to go through, but I'm encouraging you to make this your business default setting. COVID's done a lot of things and forced our mindsets in a lot of ways, but in general, you'll see me talking about the dental practice of 2025. I think that given 5 years, we'd have probably gotten to where we're going to get to by July. All right, so it's just pushed us faster and further, but nearly every single one of the changes we're going to need to make is an advantage in my opinion. Okay, so that's that one. Finance links then allow patients to confirm affordability before either party commits more time to the process. So to be clear here, when a patient fills out a finance link, it gets either an approval or a decline or a referral. If it's approved, it's literally green, and if it's a decline, it's not. But no finance is approved at that point. Okay, so nobody gets any money, nothing is activated, but it's sitting there. Okay, and so even now during the lockdown, having these finance links looked at and pre-approved changes nothing, if you know what I mean. No one's commencing treatment in any way, but we're just validating the affordability side of the equation. Here's just a little video of our finance calculator, which again in practice we would use regularly and routinely, but you can do this over Zoom. Screen shares, I'm going to show you later, is a magical thing. So to enable the same conversation with the same tools you'd use in a physical setting to be carried out virtually just through screen share. And as I'll show you later, you're also able to record those conversations for compliance. You're really looking at a situation where everything is really improved, okay? You get the idea. Digital consent. I mean, for so long, I've wanted to digitize our consent process. It's literally been on my to-do list. But the challenge again, as you'll see with all this, is not so much me wanting to do it, it's the rest of the world jumping on board. The rest of the world do still like a pen and paper, okay, but not anymore. So again, this has helped push us all in the right direction. So this is the T's and C's part of the conversation, and you'll see hopefully that everything I'm talking about is a bit analogous to other industries, be it car, when we're buying a car or anything like that. All these bits are carried out beforehand. So DocuSign is the company that I've recently started working with. They are a very big company. Santander uses them, lots of legal firms use them, so they're very secure, and it's, like I say, they're a very sophisticated system, so if they can handle those industries, they can handle ours. But fundamentally, no pen, paper, clipboard, shredder or scanner is needed anymore. And all you do is take your existing consent documents, convert them to a PDF with a click of a button, and then add little pre-populated signature fields in the appropriate place, and then just ping them across. More than that, when they get to your patient, if the patient does not respond to them in 2 days, they get a little re-email or re-text saying, excuse me, you've not sent back your consent yet, please do so. So, as I said, if it's good enough for banks and legal firms, it's good enough for dentistry. One point on that to get through is you have to start getting your head around the fact that not everything, not every part of a patient's clinical record will now be stuck to the software of your practice software. It was very, you go, oh, okay, I've got that, let's just import it, copy and paste it, so it's all in one place. That's not necessary, okay? What is necessary is that you know where those records are and you can access them and that they're safe. So what I'm saying is, in the same way that I can't stick my Itero digital scans of a patient directly into the patient's record, that's okay, all right? I personally keep our digital photography in a different location. I'm sure you guys do too. So it's okay to have these different areas, just as long as they're all safe and accessible by key members. Little American video about DocuSign, just to get you into your head and inspire you.
Step into the Agreement Cloud. Agreements are everywhere. From 100-page contracts to one-click consents, business runs on agreements. But in a world gone digital, old-school agreements make things needlessly hard and slow for everyone involved. It's time to agree better. With the Agreement Cloud, you can get agreements done faster, friendlier, and at less cost. Prepare an agreement with just a few clicks. Automatically include all the right data from your other systems. and allow users to customize the contract according to customer needs. Send, track, and sign agreements from practically anywhere, at any time, using the world's #1 e-signature app. Act on completed agreements automatically, collect payments, update other systems, trigger downstream processes, and more. Manage agreements in a safe, smart way, with a single secure place to store and search agreements, and use AI tools to identify hidden opportunities and risks,
etc. All right, clouded, secure, easy to sign. I'd advise it. All right, moving on. So now we've done all that. Patient wants it, patient can afford it, patient's been consented. Let's now get to know our patient. So what's the purpose of video consult? I believe, it's mainly this. As you've seen, we'll talk about later how I like to strip out any process into its elemental parts and then decide what's the logical order to put them in. So for me, the video consult's about rapport and emotional connection. I think it's nice that the patient's getting the information consent-wise beforehand. Then we can just focus on a bit of a chat. We can recap on why the patient wants the treatment. You can do all those bits that used to happening in surgery, face-to-face, well, digitally face-to-face. Answer any remaining questions. And I said, season the digital process with humanity. All right, so at one point in any digital experience, you want to have a little bit of contact. You want to make that emotional connection. And a term that Chris Barrow calls trust, like, and respect. That's what rapport ought to be gaining. They want to have a chat with you, have a little feeling inside that says, yeah, I'm happy to trust this guy to do my treatment, and all those bits. So what you're looking at here on the right is just one video consulting app. We're all used to Zoom. Zoom's fantastic, and I use Zoom later. This one is another application from another company, and you can upload some little photos of your practice to what's called a digital virtual waiting room, which is quite cool. So I'll show you in the next video how easy that is, and it just gives another little bit of a personal feel to the appointment. Hi guys, just showing you the dental monitoring video consulting platform here. So one of the cool bits is that you can edit the domain name here to make it look like yours, so it looks a bit personalised, which is I like. That's the link you paste. And the coolest bit, which I'll show you in another video in a minute, is that you can edit what the patient sees in their digital waiting room. So here's a picture of my reception I've put in. Here's a couple of messages you can put in about how much you can achieve with a digital consult. Here's our waiting lounge, and here's just a picture of me and one of our nice patients. So they get a good feel for the place over and above that which you could achieve with Zoom, and I think that's gives it an advantage. And here's me. So the other cool thing is that little link you can text quite easily. I mean, you can text a Zoom link obviously, but there's a few nice little features here. You also get a text notification when someone's in your waiting room. So if you'd forgotten that you'd arranged a digital consult, which I've done, then a little text will come and go, oh, someone's in there. All right, but best go and sit down by my laptop. So here's me. Yeah, just watch. Hi everyone. So I'm here with my camera crew. I've got William on filming. He's 7. And I've got Charlie, who's ready for an Invisalign consult on the right. Okay, we're going to show you how easy this video consult platform is on dental monitoring. Okay, so come over here. Look at the screen, not too close, that's lovely. So I'm just going to do this invite via text message, and I'm going to send a little link to my own phone. Just watch how quickly that little thing sends at the bottom. Tick, blue. Right, let's go over to Charlie, see what's happened on his phone. Whoa, you too quick, Chiz. He's just gone to his text message. Here, down here, I'll take over. Right, stop for a minute. Yeah, we're good. So put your name in, Charlie. We're all right here.
We're doing terrible.
Check in. And now stay on the screen.
Yeah, but this is our first try.
Okay, so slowly scroll here. So welcome to your virtual consult of the courtyard. I will start the video call in a moment. With access to high quality photographs of your teeth and a digital face-to-face conversation about your needs, you'll be surprised how much we can accomplish before you ever return to our beautiful practice. If you are making this video call on iPhone, please make sure you change privacy settings. There's me and my friendly team, and down the bottom, That's it. So that's the waiting room. Now go back up. I think you're still waiting for me. So over on mine, what happens is I've got a little indication that says my mate Charlie is ready for his Invisalign consult. Okay, so I then just do start call, bing, and now back to William's going to film us having a really good Invisalign consult here. So film the screen here. Okay, right, we're going to get some echo. That's just the way it is. But so Charlie, nice to meet you. Can you tell me a little bit about what treatment you're looking for?
I really need to Invisalign. I know it's lockdown and that, but I really need to Invisalign as soon as possible.
Well, that's fantastic, because with our new virtual consult tools, we are able to deliver that to you and get you ready for treatment. So let's have a chat about what you need. Thank you very much, Charlie. So, back to my famous apple crumble. It's one of my favourite slides I use in a lot of lectures. You're looking at a deconstructed apple crumble, where all the ingredients are still there, but they're scattered over the plate in beautiful and artistic ways. But if you scoop a bit up and eat it, it's still going to taste like an apple crumble. And that's what hopefully you're seeing from this digital consultation process. All of the important elements that you would have, whether it's the old-fashioned way of sending a report in the post, whether it's this more slightly modern version of a TCO taking scans and then seeing you for some, for presenting a treatment plan. It doesn't matter. All the elements are still there. They're just happening in a more logical, sensible, and safer order, so that you're only engaging with a patient once they've given you some green ticks in some very important parts of that workflow. All right. So in closure for this first part, I just want to reiterate that the division of preclinical and clinical pathways will define our profession post-COVID, and that the realization that digital has a central role in both these pathways, preclinical and clinical, will divide the success stories from the failures. What's interesting to me, guys, is that I'm obviously a dentist, and I do this on the side, this speaking, but I've not talked about any dentistry here yet. Yeah, I've talked about some amazing tools that incorporate, as you're going to see later, Itero as well, but some amazing digital tools that can help you engage with your patients in a massive way. And we've not even gotten around to talking about the actual practice of dentistry yet. So lots of work in there. I hope you agree. So that's it for now, because next we're going to carry on how this happens when we get the patient into the practice and how we can use our digital tools further then. So thanks for listening, everyone, and tune in for part 2, where we'll be covering the digitization of the checkup and hygiene session, amongst other things. Thanks very much.